Evidently, I had some of Randall's mixture. I don't remember anything about it. I was too sick at the time to know what was happening.
Who told you that?
Well, Randall herself. And Doreen and Lizzie were here, too.
Oh, surely you're not going to take their word for anything.
Well, do you reckon we was lying?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Well, what would be the point?
You lot'd say anything to back each other up. You're probably trying to help Randall.
I don't think they were lying, Vera.
Of course not. Not at a time like this. We're all real glad to see Mrs. M get better.
And just who was it that gave Mrs. Morris the mixture?
You think I'm going to tell you that and get them into trouble? I'm not that stupid.
I'll find out.
Well, I don't remember anything. Besides, I'm sure they're just trying to help.
Oh, honestly, Meg, you're being so gullible. That stuff could have made you worse.
But it didn't, did it?
You sound convinced.
Well, not entirely. Well, I guess I am. I just wish I could remember when I started to feel better.
Does Dr. Granger know?
Yes, he was in a while ago. It's not just me, Vera. I mean, Evelyn herself is so much better that she's gone back to her cell. And she didn't even have treatment by the doctor. She treated herself.
That's right, Miss Bennett, and I reckon if you get sick, you'll be real glad that we told you all about it.
Oh, geez, they look real bad. Oh, she's awful hot.
Can I get out?
Bee! Bee?
Trapped.
Well, how long's she been like this?
No, eh?
I said, how long's she been like that?
I don't know. Long time, I guess.
Well, they both look like they're dying.
They're not dying. They'll be fine. The doctor said they would.
Yeah, if he used Evelyn's stuff, they'd get better quick enough, but he won't.
What stuff? What are you talking about?
Well, Evelyn made up this mixture of herbs and stuff, and she got me to get some of it into her and Mrs. Morris, and they got better real quick. And Mrs. Morris looked just as bad as Bee and Jude, and she's fine now. The doctor said he won't use it. He says it's...
Where is it?
What?
That stuff you made. Where is it?
I don't know what you're talking
The
about.
stuff you gave Mrs. Morris. Now get it.
Oh, you don't look sick.
I'm not. It's for Judy. Now get it.
Look, I'd like to help you, dear, really I would, but the doctor's being
I
very
don't want to hear
difficult.
your life story. I just want that stuff. Where is it?
That's what I'm trying to tell you, dear. I can't give you any.
Don't you mess with me, lady.
Oh! Doreen got scared and she threw it out.
You made it, didn't you?
Yes, I made it.
Well, then you better make some more and be quick about it.
I can't.
Look, if you don't make some more of that stuff, I'll push your teeth down your throat. I don't want to hear you say you can't. Judy's dying. If you don't make some more of that stuff, I'll make sure that you die first.
The ingredients of plants I need for the garden, they won't let me get them. I can't.
It certainly is a good sign that there have been no new cases.
Yes, at least it doesn't seem to be spreading further. We still haven't solved the biggest problem, however. Finding out what the disease is so we can deal with it effectively.
Well, how are you? Come in.
Mrs. Davidson, Randall insists on seeing you. She says it's very important.
All right, Miss Bennett, show her in.
Inside, Randall.
Yes, Randall, what is it?
I suppose the good doctor neglected to mention to you that my treatment has cured Mrs. Morris.
He has told me of your claims.
Claims? Well, Mrs. Morris is well because of my treatment, but I would suppose that's been put down to coincidence. Am I right?
You are an intelligent woman. Surely you must realize it would be impossible to tell whether the doctor's treatment helped Mrs. Morris or what you gave her. I am inclined to believe
I am quite well. I had none of his treatment. I cured myself. Oh, of course, I can see that coming here was a total waste of time.
Is that why you came here, to tell me about Mrs. Morris?
Well, partly. I may come back later. I'm sure Dr. Granger will deny anything I have to say.
Look, Mrs. Randall, I'm not as close-minded as you seem to believe. I give you my word, I'll listen to everything you have to say.
Whether you believe it or not, I did cure Mrs. Morris and myself. Now, there are a lot of women sick here, and they're going to get worse. Now, I am asking you for a chance to help them. You see, the mixture I made was thrown out by mistake. Now, I can make more, but I need access to the things in the prison garden. Oh, please let me make some more and treat the women. It can't possibly hurt them, so you don't need to worry on that score. And you see, it will give me a chance to prove to you that I can cure them.
I'm sorry, that is quite out of the question.
Mrs. Davidson, could I have a word with you privately?
Yes, of course. Miss Bennett, you can take Randall back now.
You're making a very big mistake.
Let her do it.
But surely
I'm
you
sure
don't
there's nothing at all in her claims, but she's up to something. Let her make up her mixture. I'll confiscate it and have it tested.
Well, do you think that's wise?
Don't worry, I won't let her near the woman with it. I just want to find out what it is, and this is the perfect opportunity. I'll take full responsibility.
Well, if you think it's important.
I do.
Crikey, is this the same sort of stuff you used in the last lot?
I told you to get it all from the prison garden.
Yeah, I know, but I meant, oh, well, I don't know, all this is weeds and that.
Oh, no. No, it's not, no. Take that, for instance, now. Now, that's sorrel. Absolutely delicious vegetable.
God, and I thought the stuff they fed us in here was bad. Yuck.
And that dandelion in George's bowl is superb. You know, there isn't a single part of that plant that can't be used. It has even more iron and vitamins than spinach.
But I don't like spinach.
Well, perhaps you should try some of that as a vegetable.
Oh, not bloody likely. How come we have to dig up the roots as well?
I told you, all the plant can be used. You know, you can even make wine and beer from it.
Oh, geez, don't let Lizzie know. She'll have a dandelion still going.
Get me a double handful of that. Not without gloves. Ow! Georgie, I'm sorry. I thought you knew nettles sting. Doreen, you better do it. You've got the gloves on.
Gee, you're going to feed this to people. I'm sure glad I'm not sick.
Would you get me all of that? That little plant there, that's chickweed. Have you ever heard of soul food in the south of America? Greens, pot liquor?
Oh, yeah, I heard about it in the movies.
Well, you know, what they are referring to are dandelions.
Oh,
Right, I think we've probably got enough there. Officer, all right to go now?
you sure know a lot.
Yes, enough, I think. Enough.
Meg, I was told you were feeling better. I'm so glad.
Oh, so am I. Whatever it is, I've never felt so sick in my life.
I understand Randall gave you some of her homemade medicine.
Well, I'm afraid I was too ill at the time to realise what was happening, but they told me so.
It's true, Mrs. Davidson. I seen it with my own eyes. That shot the doctor gave her, that never did nothing. It was Evie that cured her.
I don't think you can be too sure of that, Lizzie.
Honest, Mrs. Davidson, it worked like a charm. She knows what she's doing, but nobody'll give her a go.
Did you have some too?
No, I wasn't that sick. Evie said I'd get better by myself, and I did.
Lizzie, don't you think if you were able to get well on your own, Mrs. Morris might have too? It could all be just a coincidence.
Oh, you didn't see her, Mrs. Davidson. She was really that sick. She'd never have gotten better on her own. Why won't anybody believe her? She cured Mrs. M. She could do it for everybody else, but nobody will listen.
Yes, that should be about right, I think. Doreen, dear, would you pass me that jar? Right, thank you. There we are. Just a bit more, I think. Right. Now.
Well, what'd you do that for?
Just an idea I've got. We'll see if I'm right. Should be any minute now, I think.
I'll take this, thanks.
Now, I don't suppose you're giving that to the patients.
Ah, you're absolutely right. I will, however, be having it analysed. I'm sure it's a waste of time, but perhaps it'll put an end to all this rubbish. Miss Watson?
Why'd you let him do that?
Well, I couldn't very well stop him, could I?
No, I suppose not. But he didn't get it all. Look, Georgie, it's okay.
He did exactly what I thought he would do.
Have we got enough?
Oh, yes. Enough for a good start, I think.
Well, Judy gets it first.
All right, Georgie. Judy gets here first.
Well, how long do you think it will take? Or could you put a rush on it, please? Right, thanks. I've just been on to the lab. The results of the analysis should be back by tomorrow. I must say I feel a bit silly having a bunch of weeds analysed. Still, at least I can't be accused of being unfair.